meeting's canceled.
Oh, we do have a quorum.
Yes.
Chris is not coming. Kevin is not.
Ella.
So Kevin's coming late.
Chris. Or has anyone heard of
Chris D.
It's a nice night.
She isn't showing up.
Yeah, I know, we need to like figure something out.
We have a quorum, we good?
Yeah.
5:30.
Game on.
Good evening, 5:30. Welcome to the Norwich Board of Education meeting for the month of June. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So we do have a quorum. So the first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the May 12th Board of Education meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second? Dennis Lopak, second. Discussion, comments, changes? All in favor say aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? What's that? Next item, recognition awards. And we have a lot of recognition this evening. Some people leaving us, some people staying with us, and it's going to be a great night. And I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Lassard.
Thank you, Mr.
All
Ivey.
yours.
Kirsten Thompson. There she is. Come on up. Okay, Kirsten Thompson received the Key Is Me Award, and she was nominated by her fellow first grade teacher, Alicia Cormier. I am honored to write this letter of recommendation for Kirsten Thompson, Stanton, by the way, for the Key Is Me Award. I have had the privilege of working closely with Kirsten on a daily basis as her grade level partner, and through this collaboration, I have witnessed firsthand her exceptional dedication to students and the school community. Kirsten consistently cultivates an environment in which all students feel valued, welcomed, and genuinely connected. She extends her support beyond her own students, regularly opening her classroom to learners who may be experiencing emotional challenges, seeking guidance, or simply needing a safe space for reflection. This instinctive commitment to students' social and emotional well-being speaks to her deep empathy and unwavering belief in the importance of inclusive, student-centered education. Moreover, her inclusive classroom allows students to take academic risks and develop confidence. She is kind, compassionate, and dedicated to her students. Her ability to connect with students and colleagues alike makes her an outstanding educator who makes a lasting impression on our community. Congratulations, Kirsten. Mindy Pizzo, right up front. Come on up. I didn't see Mindy today, so that's great. So Mindy is an administrative assistant in special education up in with Dr. Lisa Hughes. She was nominated by Heidi Murray, who is back over there. Hi, Heidi. Mindy's exceptional work ethic, dedication, and commitment to teamwork make a meaningful impact on our district. NPS is truly fortunate to have benefited from her years of service across various roles. She is the definition of an unsung hero. Mindy has been in her current role for about 18 months, and from the moment she transitioned into this role, Mindy was fully prepared to meet its demands, bringing with her exceptional organizational skills and meticulous attention to detail. She approaches every task with a proactive can-do attitude, consistently anticipating needs before they arise. While Mindy may not seek recognition for her efforts, the pride and commitment she invests in her work truly make a difference. She sets an exemplary standard for her colleagues, and her contribution to the success of the special education department deserves to be acknowledged. Mindy's dedication, professionalism, and humility are a testament to her character, and I'm privileged to work alongside her. And I know Dr. Lisa Hughes loves having you in that department, so congratulations, Mindy. I Make a Difference Award, Beth Perry. There she is. Beth works at the Moriarty School as an administrative assistant, and she was nominated by Nurse Diane Palmer. Beth Perry is an outstanding choice for the I Make a Difference Award. As the administrative assistant, she is the first person everyone encounters upon entering the school. She greets each individual with a genuine smile and a warm welcome, encouraging a positive response in return. For example, one morning, I love examples. One morning, a staff member was visibly upset. Beth immediately noticed and greeted them with a smile and kind word, taking a moment to check in. By the time the staff member left the front office, their mood had visibly lifted. Seeing Beth in the morning is an uplifting way for staff to begin their day. Beth's kindness and calm demeanor make her an outstanding role model. She treats parents, students, and staff with warmth and sincerity. She listens patiently and provides reassurance when needed. She is an asset to the staff, parents, and the Norwich Public School system. Mrs. Perry is the ideal first contact for Moriarty School. She truly makes a difference in every person she has contact with. And I can tell you, every time I call, it's such a pleasure to have you on the other end. So congratulations, Beth. All right, we have two students that I'm going to bring up here. Jose Rosa for sportsmanship dedication. Come on up, Jose. And actually, I'll have both of them come up. And Daniel Laguerre, come on up. So for sportsmanship, dedication, and teamwork, representing Norwich Public Schools for the unified sports through the SIAC. So congratulations, both of you. Congratulations. The next thing is middle school happenings. Do you want to do that next or continue with the awards?
Let's do middle school and we'll come back to the awards.
Okay.
So the next item is reports from students, the middle school happenings from teachers and from Kelly. Students come forward, please. And there we go.
Hello, okay. Teacher Memorial Middle School Student Rep, I'm Daniel Laguerre. We are finishing up with our end of the year school trips. 8th grade went to Lake Compound, 7th grade will be going to Nomads on Friday, and 6th grade attended Acorn Acres. We had a field day today. Thank you to all of our UA teachers for planning such a fun time. 8th graders had a great history fair and our sending elementary schools were able to come visit and look at all their great work. Kelly and teachers teamed up to compete against the Cartwell's Cook-Off. This year, both schools made delicious meals and tied. We held an open house for incoming 6th grade students. Were able, were they able to meet? I'm so sorry.
It's okay, man, don't worry about it.
We held an open house for incoming 6th grade students. Were they able to meet the teachers, get a tour of the school, and learn about the typical day as a middle school student? The music department put on a great band and chorus concert at the end of May.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm Tizzle Lobson, Kelly Middle School. 8th grade had their end of the year school dance. Everyone looked amazing and had a great time. 8th grade had their end of the year field trip to Ocean Beach. It was a great day of fun. Our Kelly band encouraged put on amazing performances for the spring concert on May 27th. 8th grade put on a history fair for 5th grade students across the district to come and see. Kelly track team ended their season strong. Our relay team won 7th in the state. Student Council has planned a fun spirit week for this week to encourage attendance for the last full week of school. Many of our students have talented work to display at the district art show held here at Kelly.
Thank you. Back to more recognitions.
So we're gonna recognize 5 members of the Kelly Middle School custodial team. I see a couple back there. Why don't you guys come on up? Is it just the 2 of you? How are you?
All right, I'm good.
Good, so Kelly Middle School custodians, so we would like to recognize 5 members of the Kelly Middle School custodians, there's not 5 up there, there's only 2 here, with certificates of appreciation for their continued dedication and support throughout the school year. Jessica, Dave, Lori, Will, and Kevin consistently go above and beyond to help make every event hosted at Kelly Middle School successful, and there's a lot of events going on here. Whether it is setting up, breaking down, adjusting spaces last minute, assisting during events, or ensuring everything runs smoothly, they are always willing to help with a positive attitude and strong teamwork. Their hard work and commitment often happens behind the scenes, but their efforts truly make a difference for our students, staff, families, and community members attending events at Kelly. I believe it is important that we recognize and thank them for all that they do. Thank you so much.
Yes, I am. Good, good.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All right,
Thank you
thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Now the hard part. We have a lot of retirements. And I told Mr. Iavino that I wish that I, as a superintendent, could revoke all of them. We are not gonna be as good as a school without a district, without, you guys are just amazing. So I'm gonna start with 2 people that aren't here today, because I wanna make sure we recognize them. So Tom Dufort, the director of Norwich Transition Academy, NTA, cannot be here. But he started the program at Norwich Public Schools in August of 2016, so he's retiring. Mary Ellen Morano, she's also not here. She starts her day at central office at like 5 in the morning, so she's long gone. She started at NPS in February of 2020 as our HR director, and she's currently the human resource data and reporting specialist, and she'll be slowly phasing out over the summer. So first, this is gonna be hard. Myra Gagnon, come on up. So Myra, 37 years
Wow.
in Norwich Public Schools.
One more time?
She started at grade 4 at Mahan in 1989. Let me know if I get any of this wrong. She worked at Huntington, grade 3. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You had to think about
Yeah,
that.
just not, right, won't say water.
Currently, she's the instructional specialist at McCann, and she was our Norwich Public School Teacher of the Year in 2024. So thank you, Myra, for 37 years with all the kids that you touched and all the topics. Thank you.
It was yellow day today at my dance school.
Oh, perfect. Come on up. All right, so she didn't do as good as Myra. She only has 36 years. 36 years. Started school in 1990. Correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Worked at grade 1 Greenville.
Yeah.
Grade 1 Huntington. Currently grade 1 Mahan. She loves grade 1.
I do, that is
I told her if I revoked it, she was going into grade 6. I just needed. She was the Norwich Public School Teacher of the Year. This is what I'm talking about. What we're losing in 2015. So we wish you well in your retirement, and I hope Mike likes you enough that you will be home all the
I
time.
know, it's been.
Come back anytime. Let us know.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. All right, we got the runner next, Andrew Kortfeld, come on up. The only person I would approve to run the Boston Marathon when we had school, so everybody knows. I told them, what did you tell everybody though there, that you had to what?
I had to win my age group.
Did it happen?
No. I was the fastest Norwich Public Schools teacher.
That's it.
Yeah.
So Andrew, 31 years at Norwich Public Schools, started at Teachers Middle School as grade 7 social studies.
Yes.
Technology integration teacher at Huntington, Vets, and Teachers Middle School.
Well, that's kind of.
Kinda, okay. Currently technology integration, the lead teacher at Huntington.
Yes.
So, and you do the planetarium
Planetarium.
over at,
Teachers,
Teachers
yep.
Middle School. So I hope you run a lot more on vacation. I think you might go to the warmer weather and still come up and do Boston Marathon every now and then. Okay, congratulations. All right, Katrina Burkaw, Adult Education, ESOL Program Leader, come on up. Hi, Katrina. We just saw you at the adult ed, it was a great graduation. Katrina started at NPS in 2012, served in a variety of roles, English for speakers of other languages, instructor, families learning English instructor, and most recently ESOL program leader. So we thank you for all you did at adult education. Thank you so much, and we wish you the best. on your-
Thank you.
All right. Ooh, this one's tough. Harriet Birchman, come on up here. Harriet wasn't gonna come, she said she came for me, so I'm so grateful. So Harriet beat everybody. Come over here, come over here. 47 years. One of the first people that I met when I worked at Stanton, came to Stanton for the first time, Harriet was the smile that greeted me in the front doors. She has worked again for Norwich Public Schools for 47 years. I think she might have taken 5 days off in 47 years, I'm not kidding you. Currently a special education resource paraeducator at Stanton, has worked as a teacher, substitute teacher, early interventionist, instructor for extended learning, library paraeducator, and summer school paraeducator. She was the NPS Paraeducator of the Year for 2022. I'll never forget that. Oh, here it is. 6 hours remaining. 1,123 hours. 72 days. She never takes time off. Harriet, we're gonna miss you so much. I can't. SS para substitute. So only at Stanton though, everybody. Congratulations here. All the colors right.
Awesome.
That's unbelievable.
Now I see why Susan was mentioning people leaving. That's a lot of years, a lot of experience walking out that door, a lot of memories, and a lot of lives affected. So to the people retiring, we thank you. Can't thank you enough. And we wish you well in retirement. With that, we'll take a 5-minute, probably a 10-minute recess out in the hallway. We're gonna take some pictures and have some mementos to say from tonight. So, recess.
Really is.
guys have to come.
Looking forward.
Well, that explains it now. I was wondering, you didn't see yourself today, and sure about this, really, but it's anything.
Good, how are you? I have to tell you.
Don't say that to
So,
Myra.
2 years ago, first
Okay, she was telling me about that. I
Oh, okay. So I ended up working for I really did the cat. You're like, yeah, why do you say so working tough? Like, yeah, you did it.
For a while.
Real one. Wake up with oh, yeah, and surgery, right when work, left when didn't work. Oh,
They're just different.
Your career. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Thank you. It's good seeing you. I will.
Yeah.
away, we'll begin with the second half of the meeting here. And we'll start with our reports, and the chairman's report is first. And those of you that know me know that I really don't have a prepared report. However, as we come to the last Board of Ed meeting of the school year, which I can't believe is already here, I don't know how that happened. Couple thoughts come to my mind. Number one, we have a great group of people sitting at this table, and I'm very grateful for the members that we have on our board. We have different backgrounds, different ideas, and that's what is needed. And I appreciate everyone that is here and what you're doing. Second of all, appreciate Susan Lassard and Jamie, Lisa, and the staff, the administrative staff, for all your hard work and what you've been doing. And it's beginning to show, and we know that. And we are beginning to see results, small leaps and bounds, but we are seeing improvement in our state report card. We're seeing our chronic absenteeism dropping. So good things are happening. There was an interesting article in the New London Day today, for those of you that read the New London Day, dealing about the issue of intercities and the relationship to poverty and education. And it really jumped out at me because it's something that I have recognized for many, many years. We have a tremendous teaching staff. We have a tremendous paraprofessional staff that work very diligently and very hard to educate the youth of Norwich. But it's not easy. And if you look at the problems and the issues that our young people come to school with, there's a lot to overcome. And we're not the only city like that. We are a small urban city. The urban cities are faced with these issues, and we have them. And that's why we're an alliance district. That's why when they're looking at ECS money, more is coming our way, because we need it to educate students. And I have been on a soapbox for a while about this, that, teachers are good, curriculum is good, we're doing what we should be doing, there's a lot to overcome, and we're working to overcome all of that. And there's good things happening in Norwich. Again, slowly things are happening. So I just reflect on a year. That's all I guess I'm trying to do here, with nothing prepared, to say that I'm grateful to be sitting where I'm sitting with these people at this table and the staff and the faculty out there. So I say thank you. We have reports. We'll give you the data because I don't have the data. I just have how I feel, and we'll go with that for right now. So thank you. And those of you that are hanging with us, we appreciate you staying with us so much. So I'll turn it over to the report of the superintendent, Susan Lassard.
Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
All right. We have a school construction update. So we had two groundbreaking ceremonies that many of you were there for, one or both, at Uncas and Moriarty. And I was glad to see so many people at these two events, but mostly I was glad to see the students that were involved and recognized there. I think that was the most important part of those ceremonies. Stanton staff is on schedule to be out of the building on the last day of school, the 17th, and Mrs. MK took off just now, but I wanted to thank her because she's kind of like our guinea pig, right? This is the first time it's happening, and she's really been in charge of that building, making sure everything gets out and it's in the proper hands and packed. So she's really made sure everything has run smoothly so that the construction team can get in there as soon as possible. So the construction team will be in there the 18th, the very next day. And I know Matt W. and Matt Brown, they'll be in there and they'll be working alongside of everybody that's in there. So it's gonna be a big deal. And I'm really proud of the Stanton staff for, showing us, and then they'll be able to talk to the next three schools about some things that maybe they thought of that they should have done, and vice versa. So really, really excited for Stanton School this Saturday. We're having a final walkthrough. There's a lot of former Stanton staff, including Amber Scribner's dad will be there. Cause he attended.
That he still has.
So we're gonna see a lot of people, so if you'd like to be there for the last walkthrough, it's Saturday between 10 and 12 at Stanton School.
Diane and I did it last Thursday.
Oh, no, that's the new school. We're doing a walkthrough through the old school.
Oh.
We're gonna say goodbye to it. And today, they actually were able to find the time capsule.
They found it.
They found the time capsule. I thought it was going to be big. It's like the ones you put through the bank when it comes through. It's like, it's one of those things. Jamie brought her metal detector, and that's how we found it.
Oh, wow.
It took 3 digs,
So
right?
where was it?
Only 3 digs.
Three
I
digs.
was like, remember that book Holes, you know, that
Yeah.
at first I thought like, oh, there'd be holes everywhere, but no, only 3 little,
Oh, that's
3 little
cool.
spots.
That's cool.
So they found it, and it
What
can't be
location?
opened
Um,
until 2075.
Yep.
So we'll save it.
Wow.
Yep.
Wait a
It's in
minute,
one of the
how
front
was it?
brick
Put it in there.
walls.
Oh, I missed that one.
When did it, does it say when it was in there? I wasn't at the burial site, so.
Nothing was dated inside?
We
No,
did one
you-
at
we can
Bishop in
open
the
it. You can open it.
eighties, so I don't know.
You
if
can
it was
Oh,
open
in
that's
the
right. What?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Now, so where did you find it though?
Sorry, what?
Where did you find it?
Well, there's the half brick walls that are in front of Stanton,
Yeah.
where there's some tables behind on like a platform. It was right in front of there, maybe towards like the front of the art room, which is the room
What
that's right
gave you an
there.
inkling that it was there though?
2 longtime Stanton folks who had been there,
Yeah.
either Stacy Howard, Stacy Hungerford kind of had a general idea.
Some pretty good memory.
So that was the issue, the general idea could, you know,
That's
we could be
awesome.
digging up, you know, lots of space, and so, yeah.
So when we bury for the new school, for time capsules, we better
Put it on the
document where
outside.
it is.
And put on the outside what date
Yeah.
it was buried, and what date it's supposed to be open.
Curiosity,
We're not going
someone
there,
probably
Robert.
opened it up eventually. You gotta
That's-
bury it.
That's wonderful.
So that was awesome, so
Yep.
we're glad that happened. So we're looking forward to Saturday, if anybody wants to join us, it's gonna be a lot
So
of
did
fun.
Mrs. MK, is she fully licensed now on the wrecking ball?
Yes, she's
So-
fully
so-
licensed, yep,
So on the 17th, she'll,
she's
do
gonna,
that first
I'm gonna
swing.
help her, it's gonna, the two of us will do it together. All right, so that's a school construction update, do a budget update, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about it, and then good news, Bob will take over when he gives his report. So
Good news, Bob.
I would like, so really though, I would really like to thank the ad hoc committee members, the city council, the mayor, the city manager, the controller for all of their collaboration throughout this budget process. You know that the district originally submitted a budget request of 5.09% or approximately 4.9 million. That was to maintain programs and services for our students. During the budget process, Norwich was also awarded approximately 5.9 million in a one-time supplemental educational aid from the state of Connecticut. After a thoughtful discussion, we had 2 meetings. The ad hoc budget committee recommended a flat budget for Norwich Public Schools, recognizing the opportunity to provide tax relief to Norwich residents while utilizing the one-time state funding for non-recurring expenditures. The city council ultimately approved that recommendation. While the district will not receive an increase to its operating budget, we are grateful for the collaborative conversations that took place throughout this process. The additional state funding will allow us to address important one-time needs, including technology purposes and other investments that support our students and schools without creating future budget obligations. I just wanna say I really appreciate the strong partnership that we've developed among the Board of Education, the ad hoc budget committee, city leadership, and district administration. While challenges remain as we look ahead to future budget cycles, these relationships have positioned us to continue having really productive conversations focused on what's best for the students and the families of Norwich. So I wanna make sure that everybody knows how appreciative we are of that collaborative and that relationship that we've built over the last couple of years, so. Preschool update. Preschool graduations are underway. I wanna say, Mark Kulos, everybody is thanking you. You've been to all 3 pre-K so far, and I heard it's been a blast.
I'm gonna miss the last 2 though.
You were at
So
Huntington,
cute.
you were at Huntington,
I was at Huntington,
Mahan.
Mahan and Moriarty.
right, so,
What
Corey.
did Jalissa send out something about that I
You-
missed?
yeah, it's been out. It's all the graduations are
Yeah.
out there, so.
Oh, the
And
pre-
the
I
kids
didn't
are
see
so cute, they're in their
preschool stuff.
little blue gowns with the hats. And I saw a few have a meltdown today, it's like, blue is not my color, you know I'm a summer. I just can't stand this.
Now you know what the teachers go through, so. So, just a reminder, Huntington's going to house our 12-month program for the summer. That came from Moriarty. The 12-month students will begin at Huntington for the summer on June 22nd. I wanna really thank Matt Brown for making that happen. He's gotta do a lot of work to get that over and opened up quickly. Another thing I wanted to mention, highlight, preschool started a new family engagement series this past Saturday, called Preschool in the Park. and it started this past Saturday. Early Learning Parent Advisory Board arranged story time in Mohegan Park with a local author who read her book to families in attendance. Chartwell's graciously donated bagged lunches for everyone on this occasion, and several local vendors joined us for the fun. And they plan on having preschool in the park events a few times per year. So keep an eye out for more information. So I
That's
really
great.
appreciated the pictures, and that's gonna start, keep doing that just to really build our pre-K
Yeah,
families.
That's very
So-
nice.
So that's
Very
all
cool.
Corey's idea, so
Thank you,
thank you,
Corey.
Corey, for doing that.
Yeah.
And finally, Commissioners Network update, just, walkthroughs during the 25-26. This is really important work of ours. They highlighted significant growth across Teachers Memorial Middle School. Key strengths included clear learning targets and success criteria, strong classroom routines and structures, increased student engagement, effective checks for understanding, positive learning environments, and a greater instructional consistency school-wide. Walkthrough data also reflected continued progress towards more student-centered learning. For the 26-27 school year looking ahead, their instructional focus will be on increasing student discourse and strengthening differentiation. Teachers will create more opportunities for students to discuss their learning, explain their thinking, collaborate with peers, and take ownership of their learning while ensuring all students have access to rigorous, grade-level instruction through targeted supports and multiple pathways to success. And finally, they will continue to expand student leadership opportunities through Educator Rising, the NGHS, which is the National Junior Honor Society, Student Council, and other initiatives to increase student voice, develop leadership skills, and strengthen school culture. And I think Ed Lavoie, is he still, Ed, thank you for all the work that you've done with this. We really appreciate it. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything for Susan? Good stuff, appreciate it, thank you. Report of the Assistant Superintendent, Jamie Bender.
Let's do public comment first.
We will do public comment first, excuse me. Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak to the board with public comment? Anyone wishing to come forward with public comment? Third time, anyone wishing to come forward with public comment? Closed, thanks, Greg. Jamie
Okay.
Bender.
So in addition to my board report, I wanted to include some hot off the press data that we've been combining. We still have some work to do as the testing window just buttoned up last Friday. So we're still in the throes of everything's collected and analyzed, but what we do have is updated attendance. So even from the report that was submitted last week, this page right here shows how we're faring for our attendance improvements. So it demonstrates that our initiatives are working, that it's, UNCUS continues to be in that really amazing range of hovering at 5-6%. Quanah continues to be there, as well as Mahan. But there are other significant improvements that are worth noting, and those are written in there. When you look at Stanton, who's gone from 16.5 to all the way down to 12.91, and they're a huge school with a lot of needs, and so
A lot of programs.
that the staff is having lots of touch points for our families and for our students by through teachers and social workers and counselors and our attendance and family engagement coordinator and administration and admin assistants, all of the people that end up supporting those efforts. We can talk about cafeteria workers and bus drivers. They're all part of
all part of it.
welcoming kids into school. Vets, I think that is the lowest that we've seen
In 10 years.
and yes. And so, we definitely want to recognize all of those efforts of the vets team. And while there's always work to be done, this is really remarkable. And I have to say that for teachers too. Middle school, we know things kind of dip with that population, and again, working really hard to navigate the issues of coming to school on a regular basis. When kids come to school on a regular basis, the outcomes of learning are going to benefit. So
And Jamie, off of that, I just want to mention that principals actually call me or text me on the weekends to say they just got the data in and how excited that their hard work paid off. So they have worked hard on this all year long, so I just wanted to mention that.
And then we close up our Dibbles window and you can continue to see those earlier grades start to make those improvements throughout the year, where you're starting with the VOI is beginning of the year, middle of the year, MOI is middle of the year, and EOI is end of the year. So you can see that there's bigger chunks of green and blue, and that's what we want over time. And so again, earlier years, we have K. We were really looking at how is our grade 1 going to do this year when the kindergartners last year did so well, and they're holding on there and still doing well. So this is attributed to the dedication and the hard work of our teaching staff. It's important to them. They want to do well, and they meet in teams and talk about their data with their principals and make plans to improve the learning of all their students. So really proud of the work. As you mentioned, Mr. Wright, we know that there's always work to be done, and we are getting there. And I believe that over the next few years we're just going to see those climbs continue to impact the later grades.
Good stuff.
In terms of math, though, is our last set of our math modules. Some are buttoned up, but some are still out there waiting to be analyzed. But in kindergarten, 73% of our students in their last assessment with units of measurement, length and weight, they're at or above
73%.
Yes. Our grade 1, it's 85 students, 85% of the students. There's some variance with grade 2, but Stanton is at 88% at or above grade level.
That's amazing.
So we're doing the right things. Teachers are working really hard, and we're seeing it in the metrics that come before our desk. And we still have obviously some more analysis to do, and that's what we're going to be focusing our first administrative retreat on, is our principals and our coaches looking at this data once we get it all buttoned up.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Comments for Jimmy? So good to see. Summer programs, just quickly.
Well, we have our summer learning program. I think around 130 students, maybe a little bit more, where we're focusing on, again,
Yes.
early reading and math, K1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And then we have extended school for special education that's happening as well. We were hoping for some extra funds from the State Department that was connected to our 21st Century CCLC. That hasn't come through yet, and we're down to the wire with planning. They asked for proposals, we gave them, we sent them in by the deadline, but we haven't gotten any word as to whether or not that's going to be approved. Right now, it's a little hard to plan for that.
So I'm sorry, Jamie, I couldn't hear you clearly. So
Sorry.
you said we are having a summer reading and math program, right? Did we do anything where if they read a certain number of books over the summer, anything like that this year?
No, we do partner with Otis, where they we collaboratively create the reading lists that are produced by them. But in terms of like a contest, no.
Thank you. It's good stuff. Like I said earlier, we're on the right track and getting
So-
better.
Right, so we're not doing that thing we tried, what was it, 2-3 years ago with the rec, where the rec was combined with the school program.
The rec is going to be having their program at Waquanic this year.
Uh-huh.
So they still are having their summer programming. We had to relocate due to school construction and where we're having our programs.
So they're having a
and
program at
and also like
Waquanic?
with,
That's
regular cleaning of the
interesting.
buildings over the summer, we're always having to be mindful of what the facilities needs are. So our summer programs are happening here at Kelly and at Huntington. And at Waquanic, actually. Waquanic has a little bit of a boost of a program. They're having 30 kids on their own because they are a focus school for the state of Connecticut and had received a grant. So we increased the opportunities for Waquanic students to have a greater amount of summer learning, so that's happening along with the rec program that's happening.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Jamie.
Mahan might also have a rec program for the little ones.
You can see the push that early education has too, because I went to those graduations, those kids know the ABC song, they can all write their names. So they're writing, they're, you know, they know their letters, their numbers. It's, you know, if you don't have that, you're so far behind by the time you get to kindergarten.
I definitely feel like there's a greater alignment, now getting our pre-Ks into our schools,
Yes.
we're together, so.
Makes a difference.
Have you heard any backlash about, or Corey, about the kids having to be, toilet trained now? It starts this fall, right?
You wanna talk a little bit about Cory?
Yeah.
It's been a little bit difficult for.
Do you wanna come up
Oh,
and
I'm
talk
sure
at
it
the,
has, that's why
yeah.
I was curious.
cause that's a great question, so.
We're in that ball, we're in that arena.
Some of our families had a little bit of difficulty due to various reasons, most of which relate to disabling conditions. So for those children, they will supply us with a doctor's note and we'll make exceptions for children who developmentally can't train to use the toilet independently. Other than that, parents have really stepped up to the plate and they have made tons of progress that will ultimately result in greater independence for their children. So I think overall it's a positive, it's a positive turnout and we'll make exceptions for those who need it.
As we know, summertime's the best time to do it, so give them a little push.
Well, Cory's been sending
have that
information out, so she's been helping and
Great.
supporting them
Yes.
over the
Very
entire
good.
year.
Yep,
so.
we've given them some of the research on a 3-day potty training method. So we really stuck with that as our primary
You
recommendation.
say 3-day?
No
3-day.
pull-ups.
Okay. Just-
Yep,
Do you
3-day.
need
So
help?
I remind them before long weekends, things like that. So like
I've been
spring
through
break,
it,
this is a great time to try it, or whenever there's an extra day off from school. So it's a little inconvenient. It's hard, if you have to wash
Oh,
soiled
yes.
underpants and
Yeah.
things like that. But we try to give them as many resources as we can. We've some of them won raffles for some training pants, the kind that make children feel the wetness if they go in their pants.
Exactly, and that's the thing, the pull-ups don't,
They
they've
wick it.
proven no
They
pull-ups,
wick
right?
away, yeah.
But then, of course, you're changing them, but like you said, hopefully this summer, they'll get a handle
Yeah,
on it.
we'll
And
get the final.
you might have an accent here or there, but
How old are these students?
These students are between 3 and 5 years old.
Really?
So it's time. It's they most of them can do it.
My
They
kids
just
were
need a
like
little support.
15 and 18 months,
Mhm.
both.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, pee and poop.
times have changed, Dennis, unfortunately.
Well, I think the
Christina?
problem is that you have a parent at home.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of it. There's no consistency.
Well, how the hell are they
They're in
gonna get
daycare,
trained
they're
if
doing
there's
it differently
nobody
than
who
who's
can
doing it
train
at
Our teachers have really stepped up to the plate too, offering families that if the families are ready to commit, the teacher will follow through at school. So send in the underpants and we'll do that extra work in school just to provide that consistency. So,
5 years old?
great,
Good stuff, thank you.
thank you.
Thanks,
Well,
Cory.
at the pre-K graduations,
We're
I
in deja
saw
vu
almost
living
no
this
one
all
in
over
a
again, aren't
diaper,
we?
so.
I remember getting called. We need to come back on and change her.
Oh, Dr. Hughes,
What?
student service.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, along with our summer programming, we also have the Reading Institute, which will be held here as well. And, Megan Wakely, one of our special ed supervisors, oversees that. And we service, many students in one-to-one reading lessons to get them back up to speed. So I just wanted to mention that as well. But in terms of, the report this evening, it's really a great exercise to go back and think about the year and reflect on all of the accomplishments of the entire team. And certainly I'm very thankful for everyone here and also the whole Department of Student Services and all that we're trying to do. You'll see the enrollment for Rose City with our therapeutic program at 20 and our school resilience program currently at 12, so it's 32 students. and in some of the highlights from this year in terms of the expansion of the program. And, you know, I think back to the first year with 1 and 2 students, and now to be in a situation where at the conclusion of this school year, we're at 20 students with a couple of tuitioned students in, and also students that we're considering to return back to district. You know, we are looking at, as you know, adding another elementary classroom to Rose City. And that comes with a lot of support from Susan and from the team there as well, and from all of you who have kind of let us run with this idea, and to just have that ability to have to try it out and to have that flexibility to make good decisions for students with disabilities and to help our community as well. So our school resilience program has grown in its first year. In addition to that, just to go back, you know, we added at Rose City this state approved safe space this year. That was a big undertaking. Our facilities, Matt Brown has helped with that, you know, all of those pieces. It doesn't happen in a vacuum, and it's not one person, it's a full team. You know, we've done regional outreach and collaboration. We did our little breakfast event that we had, and there's more to do there. We understand that, and we're going to work on that. And then again, with our resilience program in the first year, you know, really thinking about different ways that we can support learners who don't learn in traditional methods and have a high rate of absenteeism, how we can support them. And we're looking at different options for different programs that will help support credit recovery and moving towards that high school diploma, which is very exciting. In addition to that, you know, we spend a lot of time in student services, in PPT meetings and doing our school visits and all of those things. And I've just listed some of those here. We've worked this year with Dr. Mari Reddington, who is just wonderful from PD Monster, to help align some of our special programs, along with Beth Hanlon, who's been remarkable in looking at a pilot program at Stanton that's been very successful in one of our Strive classrooms. It's getting some conversation going about how we can do that in other areas in the district. We're aligning adult support process. We're looking at a full review right now of our speech and language department through CREC. So we look forward to that work and continuing to engage in that. Again, you know, we are working on a lot of different programming, aligning programming, making programming meet the needs of our students, looking at different options. The development of a transition classroom here at Kelly Middle School was new this year. Teachers are very excited about that. In addition to that, looking at the high quality instructional tools that we're using. You've heard me talk a lot about unique learning systems and what we're doing with that. So we're continuing that, and you know, looking at what the academic department is doing and Jamie's work with driving the instruction and how we can be part of that in special education as well. As you know, our annual Autism Wellness and Resource Fair was great, and we enjoy doing that as well. I do highlight some of the summer programming that's going on and mention, you know, obviously our extended school year. We partner with the academic department at Huntington, and then we have our programs here at Kelly Middle School as well. I wanted to bring to your attention a new grant out from the state. It's called the High Quality Special Education Incentive Grant Opportunity, and I'll be working on that, and we'll need a letter of support from the Board of Ed as well. But this grant is, there will be a proposal that I'll submit, and it's a competitive grant opportunity for up to $350,000. And it's created to support districts in, again, enhancing, expanding, and strengthening. From a couple of conversations I've had with area districts, we're ahead of the game, as we all know, in our special programs and our Rose City program. So there's an opportunity to think about how we could frame a proposal to continue to strengthen the therapeutic programs, but also think about our special programs in district to make them very strong and to have a real referral process to our therapeutic program and tightening that up. So I'll be looking forward to writing that. And again, look forward to hopefully a letter of support from you.
What's the time frame on that?
It's due yesterday, no. It's due in July.
It's my life.
There's a quick turnaround, so I'll be working on that very soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I already have kind of an outline, but I wanted to bring it to your attention this evening to ask, and I will send, maybe I will send it through Amber, however we want to work this letter of support. And I'll give you a little blip and whatnot, okay?
So that's the Connecticut State Department of
Yes,
Education.
yep, it's from the Department of Education. So I will need it will be very helpful to have a formal letter. I think there are some other individuals that I think our representatives are also interested, Susan, in potentially writing a letter of support. I think that would be a really good idea. Speaking about letters of support, I'll be back in Washington later in July. And there are 3 new legislative topics. So one, I think you'll be very interested in the federal funding for special education. We continue to beat that drum. Overall, the Council of Exceptional Children and the Council of Administrators of Special Education are taking a bit of a different look at that. Instead of more funding, we're trying to say, please don't cut funding. And so again, I know Mr. Seithani has been very helpful in organizing a letter of support that I do bring with me on our visits on the Hill. So I'm happy to do that again on behalf of Norwich Public Schools and the city of Norwich. 2 other legislative matters that are up on for discussion are preserving the Department of Education as well as school vouchers and public funds. So just, I know your concern will be federal funding for special education and just wanted you to be aware of that as well. And that's occurring in mid-July. And then I just have some goals for the things that we do over the summer in student services. So it's not only our ESY program, but we are looking at, again, preparation for the new grant that's out. Looking at staffing, especially with the opening of Stanton Elementary, and Susan and I have a meeting on Friday about speech and language and how we cover all of the related services and all of those things. So, and again, looking at professional development. So there's a lot of work that happens over the summer as well, a lot of planning and preparation. Wanted to bring that to your attention, but also to thank you for your support for students with disabilities across the district. And look forward to continued work in all of these exciting opportunities and new schools and all of the things that are happening here. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Yeah. Are you going to see the Secretary of Education?
What was that?
When you go to Washington?
Yeah.
Will you be seeing the Secretary of Education?
So typically what happens, I go with Connecticut Council of Administrators of Special Education as a representative of a Connecticut director. And we visit the Hill and visit all of the Congress people and senators. So we make appointments at each of those offices, and then we come with the policy briefs. And then what I've been doing is hand delivering a letter to all of the individuals up on the Hill so that they have something from Norwich Public Schools. And I've given up from our Parents with a Purpose group as well, just advocating for additional funding, federal funds through IDEA. So it's really an exciting time to be up there because, you have the opportunity to meet, the first time I was there, I saw Senator Blumenthal. So, it was just great. You go into the offices and you are there representing and you tell stories about your district and why it's important and why it matters. And so it's important work. And I'm, very happy to do that and represent the district in that way.
Has there ever been any possibility of meeting with the secretary? I'm just curious.
Typically, I have not heard that. I can look into that to see if there's any opportunity to do that.
It hurt, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. Yeah, we haven't done that. I don't know if that's a possibility. It's always a specific week in July, so I don't know.
Right, you don't know who's
the
there.
possibility of who's there and who's not, but I can ask that question absolutely,
Even 15 minutes if she, you know,
right,
if she's there.
yeah.
I know, it must be something trying to arrange all those other meetings. I can't imagine when you're
Yeah.
on summer. Oh, boy.
Yeah, there are a lot, it's one day on the hill and then it's preparation for those visits. And so what happens is you learn about the policies and the policy positions, and then you go and advocate essentially. So it's great for public schools, and it's great to be up there, an exciting time, and you're there with all the states, all going to their representatives and senators. So it's you know, I learn a lot on those visits, so.
How much representation is there from the state of Connecticut for that?
So last year we had 4 members, including the executive director of Connecticut Council of Administrators of Special Education. So there was a group of about 5 of us that went. I'm not sure what size the group will be. I know it definitely will be the executive director of Connecticut Case and myself. I don't know if there are others joining us. We had a professor emeritus from Central Connecticut State who's gone over the years as well, who's wonderful. But you know, we do have a group, so, and we're organized, and we work on our, you know, story and what we'd like to say, and it's also really great to have a conversation about urban districts and what happens and what we need and what our parents feel about that, and you know, those things, so. Yeah, so I'll have a report about that when we have our, you know, first board meeting, and but I'll find out about the secretary and see what happens with that, I'm not sure.
Well, we
Thank you, Lisa, and for everything else you do.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
well,
Anytime.
yes, we thank you for all your work year round
Exactly.
and your trip to Washington, so keep doing what you're doing, so good. Thank you.
A lot of people are trying to get our legislators' attention, so thank you for sharing our stories. I know you have a lot to share that's impactful, so
Yeah.
we appreciate it.
There's a lot of hopeful things that I'd like to share, and also the reality of things that, you know, this is how this affects our students with disabilities sitting in our classrooms.
They need to hear it from the people who are there living it,
Yeah.
so thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Serpensky.
Good evening. Before I get into numbers and budgets, I want to give a brief update on some food service activities. Susan and I received a letter or email from this Department of Education that your healthy food certification application was approved, so that's a good thing, and usually is. That means 10 cents extra per meal, so thank you for doing that. That will go into the food service program. The teachers, student representative talked about the cook-off between NFA freshman class and our 8th graders from both Kelly and teachers. We weren't prepared for this. As he said, it ended in a tie. There were 12 students participating, we only had 6 trophies. Because I'm a firm believer is you don't have a tie, there's always a winner. But it was too hard to decide. The event was 2 hours long, and we watched the students. They are so engaged in what they're doing, and they're so talented. And the food was delicious. I learned some things. I didn't know you could grill watermelon. We had grilled watermelon. It was nice to see that 3 of NFA's students had participated in the cook-off last year as Norwich Public School students, so they are very engaged. It's nice to see we had more boys on our team than girls. So if we can start an interest at the elementary school level in the culinary arts, that there's real careers out there where you can make a real good living. So it was a very good event, and we'll have it again next year and try something different.
Even if it was a little biased.
Well, if I was a judge, I never would have been tied.
Yeah. So we talked about that, and it's like, you know, you
We
can't
didn't
have a
want to,
tie.
we didn't want to.
And there was one student from NFA who wanted that trophy. I mean, they were very competitive and they were very serious, and the food was really, really good.
Good stuff, Bob, thank you.
And then we wanna have a big push next year to improve our food farm to school program. This is a statewide initiative. Nazam and I and Edwin went to a statewide meeting in Bristol a couple weeks ago, and the state wants to promote agriculture. They wanna promote healthier eating, and they want the farm to school meeting. We had a meeting with the administrators. We're gonna see what we can do to bring more fresh local vegetables in. Currently, we serve lettuce from year-round from Maple Lane Farm. It's hydroponically grown indoors. We buy local beef from Campbell's Farm Stand on Route 138, so the hamburgers, when we serve them, are restaurant quality. We also buy organic produce from Lathrop's Farm in Lebanon, so in the summertime and early fall, we have that. We met with the owner of Malerba's farm, Vinnie Malerba. That farm's been there since 1923. Nizam's making a list for him, and he's gonna grow some crops just for us. Nizam's idea is to use local tomatoes to make marinara sauce and use the homemade sauce on pizza
Wow.
and pasta dishes. So we're gonna see
Oh,
what we
that's
can do that
awesome.
next year. So
Homemade marinara.
yeah, so
That's awesome.
that seems encouraging,
You're
so
making me hungry now.
we're gonna see what we can do to make farm to school, and also part of the educational process, and then if there's teachers who are willing to incorporate that into the classroom, so on and so forth. So we expect to be buying native corn on the cob. Vinnie says he can have that right into October. And we'll do what we can. So, we ready for some budget stuff?
Always.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Always.
Susan said the 26-27 budget is a good news story. I've never been any place where we have more funding available next year than we asked for, and that's a good thing. As Susan said, the budget is flat funded at 96,637,707, the same as this year. That was the recommendation from the ad hoc committee. We had good discussions, and we fully supported that. The district's also gonna receive grant aid in the form of supplemental education aid, as it was called. $5,913,205. The state has recommended from audit purposes that those funds be received in a separate account. I've talked to Josh and we have a process for handling that. So if you do the math, the Board of Ed in March had approved a 5.09% increase, and that budget was a real budget. It represented what we needed to run the district, what we thought was appropriate. We had some new custodian positions in there, and we put forth what we needed. We didn't expect to get a 5.09% increase simply because of Norwich's financial situation, but that's what we needed. That 5.09% was an increase of $4,918,459. So if we add up the flat funded budget plus the 5.9 million that we're getting, we're gonna have $102,559,912,000 to run the district with, which is $994,746 more than we asked for. So basically, we got $1 million more. So from a budget standpoint, I'm expecting if we have a good budget year, we would operate within our 5.09% increase, and we should have an operating surplus at the end of the year of $1 million. If we don't, then something went wrong somewhere. So in order to know what went wrong, we need to be able to monitor the budget based on what the original budget proposal was by account number. We can't go in, the Board of Ed has a task, we have to reduce the budget that you approved by that $4.9 million. So what I'm proposing you do is reduce the transportation line item by $4,918,459. That way, every other account will remain intact, so when we monitor actual performance against budget performance, we'll know, yes, heating expense was too much, too little. Salaries, this was right, this was what was wrong. The other reason for doing that is for audit purposes. Josh and I talked about this. We don't want to have two operating funds going simultaneously. We want to limit the activity in that $5.9 million supplemental account. So if roughly it would take about 5 to 6 monthly transportation invoices from first student to eat that money up. So that would be the easy way to do this. So that's what we're proposing. So that would be that for the 26-27 budget. Then one thing that did come out of the ad hoc committee that we started some discussions on, and we would like to continue them during the year, is how the district budgets for capital items. We normally, in our budget, we have capital items in the facilities item. It might be floor scrubbers, as a replacement, trucks, plows, things like that. In technology, the capital budget is usually devices. We have to start replacing Chromebooks and things like that. In other districts, they budget those separately as not part of the operating budget. If we lump those things into our operating budget, every time we have to cut the budget, those are the first things that go because it doesn't affect people. And it's easy to say, well, you can just use those trucks extra years, or we'll postpone the technology stuff. And we're gonna be going into a world where all the technology devices are gonna be new almost at the same time. We won't be able to do that. We have to have replacement plans. So if it comes time to cut a budget, then it's gonna be, what do we take out of the operating budget? What do we reduce out of the capital budget? So the city was on, representatives were on board with that, and Joe DeLucia supported that. So during this year, Susan and I will have discussions with John Salamone and Josh Pothier, and how to make that become a reality for next year.
It was mentioned that was on the table a number of years ago.
Yeah.
The same concept, so it still holds true.
So that's what came out of the budget process. So do you have any questions on next year? Okay, 25-26, the current year, it ends in a couple weeks. So we are gonna end in the black unless something really horrific happens that we don't know about. We did have some unexpected surprises that cost us a little bit on the surplus side. Our excess cost reimbursement came in lower than we were told it would be in January. After the March reports will come in, so the percent reimbursement dropped down to 71.5%. So we're getting $139,000 less than we anticipated. And then on the pre-K side, for this year, we're losing just under $209,000 in funding because of utilization rates. So because of those two things, our year-end surplus is gonna be probably between $200,000 and $500,000 after we get done adjusting everything and moving what we can to balance out our grants. And that's not, I mean, we don't wanna have too large a surplus. It's awful hard to budget exactly, you don't ever wanna be over budget. So we always target maybe 1/4% to 0.5%. That's reasonable to come in within that percent framework.
Well balanced, yep.
Any questions on that? When the year ends, we'll give you a complete detailed where the overages were, where the shortfalls were, because we'll have to balance it.
It's about the same as last year too.
Yeah. Last year, we ended up with $458,000 left over.
And that'll go in that non-lapsing fund?
No, that went into shore up the health insurance reserve
Oh,
fund.
that's right.
We'll do the same thing
I
this year
forgot
with
we
that.
agreed to do
So
that.
what will happen next year, when we end the year, we should have a minimum of $1 million left over. Then there'll be Board of Ed discussions as to how that money is utilized.
So Bob, there's a couple of items that influence the budget too. What do your opinion on the effect of Rose City School to the budget, the savings from that? How is that reflected in the budget?
Well, that's been reflected since day one. I'll go back to when that program started a year ago. Was it a year ago? 2 years. This is the second full year. But the very first year it started with 2 students in September, and it grew to 9 by January. So I had done a detailed analysis on that, and in those 9 students, there were 3 types of budget impact items. There were students who, when we created the 24-25 budget, we had actually had them outplaced. They might have been outplaced at a Bradley or a school like that, and the tuition for that student might have been $70,000 to $80,000. When Rose City started, Lisa was able to bring those specific students back into the district, and we didn't pay those tuitions that had been budgeted. Then there was another term I called tuition avoidance, cost avoidance. There might be a student who was identified that you will go to Bradley, or you will go to Greenspan or Lifespan or whatever the program is. By keeping that student here, we didn't pay the $75,000 or $80,000 to that student. And then we had a few students that we accepted from other districts who we charged tuition for. And that instead of say Griswold or Montville or whatever the school was, paying a Bradley $70,000, they paid us $70,000. So those three things for the first year added up to a total of $660,000. Now, since that time, it's grown into multiple classrooms and Lisa's adding another classroom. So we can go through next year and try and quantify what those savings are. The other thing that it did was we were able to utilize the seed grant money without having to scratch and look for ways to spend it. That grant was $604,000 for this current year, and it was for positions that were newly created in special education, working directly with students as of July 1st, 2025. So Lisa had hired 3 or 4 new people in the Rose City School to in special education roles. So those employees immediately qualified for using that grant, so we didn't have to struggle to find ways to use that. So she was on the forefront for doing that. So to your question, Mark, it's been a great thing.
But Mark, again, to add to that is that, so Bob and myself and Lisa, we sit down when we're doing the budget and we look at the list and we decide together as a team which kids we think are coming back, how many we're gonna save from outplacement, and we give that number to Bob, so he puts it into the budget. So that's how we
The
look at it.
savings aren't just in tuition, they're also in transportation and fuel.
Yes.
Yes. And Mindy, who you saw earlier, does a remarkable job. She keeps track of all of the, she's very quick to be able to tell us, okay, these are the students, to Susan's point, these are the students we're looking at, what would be the cost savings, and the other part that Bob said, mitigating placements is really important as well, so we're not sending students out, that's important too, like to realize that, if we didn't have this program, we would be in significant
We would be in the
deficit.
negative, and
Yeah.
the liaisons too, Lisa, they
Yeah,
do a remarkable
they
job,
do.
we sit down with them and they give us a story, like, we
Yep.
think they're ready to come back and things like that, so.
And Mindy
Yeah.
works with Heidi, who's sitting
Yeah.
in the audience tonight in my office, and they're
Yeah.
hand in hand with this, and they do an amazing job.
Yeah.
It's a really big
Team effort.
thing to get your arms around.
So that program is objectively quantifiable in the budget. How about subjectively for the students' attitudes and their achievements?
In Rose City or?
Yes.
So I think that, we had the Rose City team here earlier I think in January, right? And, hearing just what they talk about and the success of students and how much growth there is when you have wraparound services in your own community. There's such power in that. The opportunities to then think about how we could include students in some of our schools, to do sports, to do those kinds of things. They're just, we're continuing to build more opportunities here in Norwich, so.
Don't forget, these kids are they've already identified students that are ready to go back into the
Yeah.
schools, so that's the other plus to this, so.
That's the really big,
That's-
big positive piece, and they have done that. They've transitioned students right back here to Kelly Middle School, here to an elementary school, or back to their district, whatever, and so we've had students move in and out of the program. And so, we're hoping to have some more ideas about flexibility and ways we can use the program to continue to meet the needs, the ever-changing needs of our students. And so I'm hoping that if we're successful in trying to get this competitive grant, that we can utilize that money to strengthen what we already have and continue to think about creative ways to help our students and make programs and find successful opportunities for them right here in our community.
And just Jamie and Lisa's departments working together where we've added
Yeah.
art and music and PE, we found a way to make sure that we have somebody over there and they will tell us, it's one of their favorite places to go. We have our instructional coach that goes
Yeah.
over there and supports the academics, and they absolutely love going over there and working with our kids there.
And that's really an awesome point, Susan, because the curriculum is the curriculum. It's what students are doing here in our schools. and they're getting a high quality curriculum at Rose City where you don't typically see that in a lot of our out of district placements. So we have a real investment in so many ways in that school.
And next year, the legislative battle again is gonna be ECS because the supplemental aid we got this year needs to be incorporated into the ECS foundation amount. They need to revise that formula. They have a Blue Ribbon Commission panel that's working on that. And then the other topic again is gonna be appropriately funding special education. The seed grant was funded for 2 years, that goes away after next year unless they legislatively continue it. That's funding almost $627,000 next year, that's over 0.6% of a budget. If that goes away, we're gonna have a big hole to fill. And the excess cost reimbursement is again dropped down to 71.5%. The state estimated if they funded it 100% in 25-26, they would have had to come up with another $92 million. If they were gonna fund it at the tiered level at which Norwich is entitled to 91%, they would have needed 52.2 million. So next year, I'm expecting the percent to be below 70 because costs continue to rise exponentially. And if they don't pump more money into it, it's gonna be another burden on the district, so.
And that was talked about today too at the legislative breakfast that I went to this morning. That was the hot topic.
Yeah,
It was all about
those aren't gonna
ECS.
go away, and if we didn't have the Rose City School, as much as our costs keep escalating, it'd be up even higher.
But the program also has a ripple effect as it follows the student as they transition into high school. It lowers our costs for special ed costs going into high school and increases, their confidence level, their achievement level in high school.
And then the other big piece is the resilience program, because that's, unmet needs of students, and, that was an area that we've seen a good return on the investment of, the first year. So I think, continuing, and if you recall, the thought process was potentially to open up an autism program when we do move buildings. And so there's like continued growth, because to Bob's point,
Run out of space at Bishop.
yeah, when we move to vets, that's the idea. And to do that, and the importance of doing that is what Bob just said, that there are going to be limitations in funding, we have to be ahead of it. What's the next idea that'll help us?
Do you know if our high school partners, NFA or Griswold, are doing something similar in the resilience program?
So I think there are various ideas, NFA has the Wildcat Academy, and they do kind of like a synchronous high schooling kind of program. I'm sure that they have other ways to help, but we have taken some kids from NFA into the resilience program, so we're working with them on that as well. And we meet with them on a monthly basis, the special ed team, Sarah Edmond and Jess Vacatora. And they've been great partners. So we talk a lot about that, and we've taken a couple of I think we have a couple of kids from Griswold as well. So, sometimes a traditional high school is not working. And so we're trying to meet the needs of all students.
When the kids have gone back to the school they should be at, have they been, obviously they're acclimating well.
Yeah.
Are they accepted back by their peers?
Yeah.
With no issues?
As far as I am aware, yes, that's been the case. There have been some successful transitions back to district. And, it's, what I know about the team at Rose City is they will not transition a student until that student is ready, and then there's a plan for that transition. So it's not, okay, next Monday you're going back to Kelly Middle School, there's a visit, there's planning. It's very important to do that.
Oh, yes.
Right, for the teachers involved on the receiving end, but also for the student, coming from, a smaller setting into this is, remember, from a kid's point of view, this is a big building, lots of other students, and so they're very mindful of that and very, very thoughtful in their process.
My office is on the third floor of Bishop, and I, as the occupant, stepping outside of the box, when Rose City first started, there was plenty of parking. I see 1 or 2 kids, and it was quiet. Now when I come in, there's buses, there's parents dropping off kids, kids out on the playground, it's noisier and it's a real school.
Yes, it
I've seen it well, I don't have to ask Lisa, there are more students there, I see them.
It's a winner for everyone, students, families, and us, so thank you. Anything else for Robert?
Yeah, I just wanna touch on one unsung hero that should have gotten an award too, and that's Ed Peckham and his amazing work. I mean, the cost avoidance that he comes up with, many multiples times his salary. And how does that affect your budget?
And he finds one student that's worth more than he charges. And then plus, just his presence, the word is out. You try to cheat, you'll get caught.
He's
That
as
simple.
professional as it comes. That's the nice
Oh,
thing
yeah.
about Ed.
He is
so
very much.
Very professional.
Appreciate that, Mark, kudos to him, thank you. That's
Sure.
good. All right, we're on to new business. 11.1, we have an action item, discussion, possible action to revise the 2026-27 school calendar to have staff begin on August 31st and the first student day to be on September 3rd. Do I have a motion to bring this forward?
I will make a motion to revise the 26-27 school calendar to have staff begin on August 31st and the first student day on September 3rd.
That's a second, Dennis, you beat him to
Oh,
the punch, that's
so
okay.
I'll second
So
that.
we got the motion and we second. Discussion? Susan, you wanna talk about this a bit? Sure.
So this came up a couple weeks ago, talking with the building Downs over at Stanton, and doing the walkthrough with them over the past year. And I had gone in at one point and I'm like, you guys are gonna be ready on this date, right? And they're like, what date? And I was like, okay, this is making me a little nervous, so we started having conversations about that, and they said, okay, so they started working, overtime on Saturdays, but at this point, speaking with Mike Fienza from CSG and having some deeper conversations with them, they cannot guarantee that they will even have the certificate of occupancy on the weekend before the teachers show up on that Monday. We can't take a chance. We can't take a chance with that. I can't even imagine doing that to teachers, to the staff there, where they're coming to PD on Monday and they haven't even started their classroom. Everything's in boxes. So Downs cannot say if it's going to be ready the week before. We can't take that chance. So that's why we're going to move it, and we'll keep a close eye on this as well for the following year, even though it's different O&G. I'll be having some conversations with them, so I don't wanna have to go back and change a calendar. We'll be having these conversations before you guys vote on the next calendar for the 27, 28 school year. So at this point right now, we just can't guarantee that the teachers will get in there and need to do what they need to do. So.
Well, they have a whole building to take down and a roadway to construct and drop-off areas for buses and parents. So you can't drop a student right there now because there's a building in the way.
So
why
that's where
have
we
to
are.
be out as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And they are behind, they have to get that building, get into that building, and because of the snow days, they're already behind a week to get in there and start doing the abatement and everything else they need to do in that school.
Gotcha. Any other?
Beyond just giving ourselves a buffer, which is just a smart decision, the way the calendar works with September starting on a Tuesday, we were going to be going in basically 2 weeks before Labor Day. And I would prefer this calendar regardless of whether or not we had the construction things going on. I think starting the week before Labor Day is better with the professional development for the teachers, a short week for the students, and then, the Tuesday start for all after Labor Day.
The
I think it's a
teachers
smart
disagree
calendar.
with you, but
They want the 2 weeks earlier?
they were already texting me, they're like, we heard this is gonna be voted on, do you think we can have school on this date and this date to make up for it, cause they wanna get out earlier in the
Getting
year,
out
so-
earlier is nice, yes, but in August, they may or may not feel that way.
Agreed. And it does work out right, cause that's how a lot of
With
our
the
calendars have
Tuesday
been, they
start
have
with
that
September, right,
day
so-
off in Monday, so it's not horrible.
Labor Day is on the 7th this year, so it's very late.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. My glasses. Unfinished business, 12.1. We have before us an action item. Discussion and possible action to approve new policy number 6010, library collection development and maintenance, library displays and programs, and library material review and reconsideration. Do I have a motion to bring this forward?
Motion to approve new policy number 6010.
Second?
I'll say,
Go ahead, Mike.
all right.
Mark wins.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
So I have a question, want some clarification on, at the end of it, the very last number, number 8, it's talking about the review process. It says, once a decision has been made by the review committee on any library or other educational materials, such material cannot be subject to a new request for review or reconsideration for a period of 3 years. So I just want some clarification on that because our students are constantly changing, new parents are changing, new boards are changing, society is changing. And I wanna know if one parent brings up the complaint and the review process doesn't side with them, but say a year or 2 later, another parent now has the same issue or whatever, are we saying that they are not allowed to review it because it's already been reviewed by someone else? Cause I really don't agree with that.
Well, this bill is really to comport with state law, that the whole procedure that you just described was part of the omnibus funding bill for this year's changes to the budget. So the whole procedure as far as, you know, who's getting appointed to that board and the decisions and the timetable is all written into state law and the Public Act that was passed.
No, and I understand that, I'm concerned about the 3-year statute, basically a statute of limitation saying, and I just think that with students being admitted new every year, that's kind of saying like, okay, well, my kid's starting school now, but the people who fought for saying that that wasn't acceptable, they didn't do the best job, but maybe I can. I should have, as a parent, I should have a right to complain about anything that's being, and I shouldn't just because another parent has failed at complaining properly or whatever. I don't know, I'd like to know that if I messed up something and I wasn't successful, that 2 years later, another parent, society changes. Society, it's changed, it's went left, it's went right, it stays in the middle, it goes both ways, and I just don't agree with the statute of limitation 3 years. I just don't think, I think it's preventing new parents from feeling like they have a voice.
Are we talking about sexual material?
I'm not actually getting into any, I'm sure that has something to do with it, but it's not really about what the topic is. The bottom line is that a parent should have a right to review. And so my clarification is, I get having one parent not get their way and then next year they're complaining again. I get that. And that is what I think this is trying to prevent. But I want clarification on, is it saying that one parent cannot review the same material again? Or are we saying because one parent has reviewed this material, no parent can complain about it for the next 3 years? I just want clarification.
Meaning to have it more frequently, right?
That's
That
the
they
way
don't
that I
know 3
understand it,
years.
is that it's based on the material and not based on the person who's making the request for it to be removed.
Right,
That
so
it's the material
It's the
itself.
material, that's what it
Yeah.
says.
Yeah, so if the particular material is reviewed, it can be reviewed only in that span once during that 3-year period.
that's what I thought,
Yeah.
and I'm not okay with that, cause there are new parents that come in every year who have different and we have to respect them all, and I think that we're putting a limitation on that parent's rights to have a voice for things that their children may or may not be susceptible to. Thank you.
Well, again, it's on material. The material would be there, whether the student and the parent, whether the parent wants the student to have access to it. And they're monitoring what access and what material they're looking at and bringing home. They still have control over that, no?
No, not if there's a display in the library and they think it's offensive.
Yeah.
And it's already been reviewed. And with the review I mean, the people on the, I don't know, I don't agree. I don't think there should be statute of limitations on that. I don't think there should be statute of limitations on a heck of a lot of things that there are statutes of limitations on.
At the last CABE summit, whatever it was, instead of seeing your course, it said, the privilege to read in the library was the name of that course session too. Basically, anything that's there is there, and that's the breaks. Can't do a damn thing about it. And they got pages of court records basically saying that. You don't like it, it's sexual material, you can't take it out and put it behind the counter. It has to be displayed in the normal place that it would do according to the decimal system. That you like it or not, we are out of luck.
I would like to speak up just in support of this policy. I think it's very well thought out. I like the idea that the library and media specialist is someone who is professionally trained to curate and develop a collection, and we're putting the experts in charge of overseeing this, but giving and putting a review process in place where people can question things. And then there's a really thoughtful, well-organized process for how that's done and who looks at what's going on and how they come to a decision. I mean, if you read through the policy, I think this is very well thought out, and I support it for that reason.
And I will understand, I've read through the entire policy and I was, like I said, reading happily fine until the number 8 at the end. It causes a concern for me because with what's going on in not only just our community but nationwide, parents have felt like their voice doesn't matter. And just saying, I mean, I don't have grandkids, but just say I complained about something that I didn't think was appropriate, Moriarty for my son. Just say. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, my daughter wants to enroll her children, which she doesn't have, in Moriarty. And now she has the same concern, you know what I mean? But now her kid's new, my kid's on his way out. What? She's gotta subject her child to that for 3 years before she can complain. I just don't think that is standing up for parents' voices, and it's not making us feel like we are part of the conversation, that we are part of. So.
Yeah, I feel like the purpose of that would be for stability. And so that you may have different parents who might want to challenge in different years, but the thought would be, well, the review committee went through this process, they looked at it, and they approved this material.
Right, but.
And the thought would be 3 years is a period of time where, we don't want to necessarily, I think the idea would be, we don't want to be necessarily changing things based off societal changes or whims or going with the wind.
But that's what
rather,
we've been doing.
We thoughtfully made this decision, so we're gonna stick with it for a period of time.
But I understand, so what do I want in clarification, because I could see the purpose of the whole thing, the purpose of it with maybe not having the same parent review it, but I think I want, you know what I mean, like, I understand if the same parent every year is coming with the same complaint and they've already been reviewed, yes, this policy would stop that from happening and wasting valuable time and resources on just repetitive. But if it's a different parent complaining, I think they have the right to voice their opinion. Whether the school has already made a decision or not, whether they agree with them or not, they have a right to voice their opinion or concerns. That's all I'm saying. And I don't think that there should be any type of statute of limitations on any parent expressing their concern just because another parent already expressed concern. That parent their opinion should be valued.
Susan, before this policy came onto our hands, there was discussion in the past of having the media specialists and the group, basically go through how this policy would be enacted. Did they mention anything about this number 8 idea how the review policy?
That would be a Jamie question.
No, they did not.
No.
They didn't have any issue with the policy as it was written.
Well, I certainly see your point, and I certainly see your point about stability in terms of 3 years. It's the material that was reviewed.
And I understand that.
And then next year, it's the same material that just was reviewed the previous year. The parent certainly has the right to express, however, based on, we're gonna go through it again, a review.
But you never know because the data can always change, that maybe some of these books, maybe they actually cause more harm than good. You never know. I'm just being hypothetical. You don't know what's gonna change from year to year. You don't know which learning ways work better. You don't know if introducing children to sexual education early on is going to benefit or if it's going to harm. We don't know the true data on that until these kids grow up. So I mean, it's just a concern, and it's a concern in the community that parents constantly feel like they're not being heard. And I feel like this is one of those things where parents may not even know that this policy exists until it comes up to it and they're a brand new student in the school and I have a complaint about this and, oh, I'm sorry, you don't have that right anymore because we've already reviewed it and we've already said your opinion don't matter, so peace out. That's just how I see it.
I would hope that they wouldn't feel that their opinion didn't matter. I hear what you're saying, but I would hope that the process that we do with these people, that they would feel heard, that they would talk about it.
But if you have a new parent who was not part of that process, a new student, we have new students coming into our schools every day. I mean, every year, you know what I mean? Norwich is a constant change.
Yeah.
People are in and out. So that was my only concern.
And I hear you, and thanks for bringing this up because I didn't think of that until you brought it up. But I also believe even if someone came in after to bring it up, I feel like the process, even if they couldn't go through this whole process, I think Jamie and I would make sure that the building principals would still listen and let them be heard. But I know what you're saying.
But in this policy, they don't have to.
Well, we can still talk to them about it.
You can, yes, you can talk to them, but you can't do any.
We can't go through the process again.
You're bound, and then that's when you have to say, like, okay, when we had the transportation, they had problems with the way we made decisions on bus stops. And I asked about the review process for that, and that was another one that parents were highly upset about because they feel like, because you said so, that's it, that there was nowhere else and I remember I asked, who could they reach out to if they're not satisfied with us? You know what I mean? And I had to say, I guess you call the state board, because I don't know what, you know what I mean? I'm trying to prevent that from happening again, because I'll tell you what, you're gonna have some new student come in here, first grade, second grade, and they are gonna see something in the library that may be considered inappropriate to certain cultures. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, I'll go through the process. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, last year somebody already reported that and we didn't agree with it. And, so I'm sorry, we respect your opinion, but we're not gonna even give you a hearing or a chance to fight your thing. What happens if I just stunk at defending myself? There are a lot of parents who stink at actually getting up and defending themselves. They get tongue twisted, hello, look at me, classic example. But then you could have someone 2 years later who is organized and well put together, who could make their valid point, And it could change your review. You don't know that because people are changing and new students are coming in. And we can be done because I'm not gonna vote on that. That's,
Before we put it to a vote, I understand completely what Heather is addressing, and I understand the concerns totally. I don't see a description of what the review committee is comprised of.
it's comprised of Board of Ed member, the
Number 4.
Oh,
teacher.
I'm sorry, I missed
in
it
there.
totally. I was very bad and didn't prepare prior.
But I also feel like in that review committee, you have a lot of people who are, I don't know, school people. And you don't really have very many parental people.
Things, yeah, I see.
2 parents on the.
So one of the grade.
And one of them is the person, you know what I mean, one of the persons who's bringing the complaint.
Guardian.
So,
It's
No,
at
we have
least
the
an
2 people
8-member
who are not
committee.
Parent or guardian of student.
oh, I thought it said,
FNG.
I thought it only said one informed,
My certified school, I.
sorry, I read that.
Well,
wrong.
I think we're ready to put it.
A parent of a 13-year-old or younger and a parent of a
Yeah.
14-year-old or older
Yeah.
that are both not the person who submitted the request form.
Right.
And if the issue, I mean, are we going to have a sitting committee, a review committee, or are we just gonna put one together if an issue comes up?
It's appointed once there's an issue that comes up.
We are going to have one.
Once it comes up,
Once
then
it
you
comes up.
appoint the committee.
Right.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a
Okay.
sitting
The
committee.
superintendent
Yeah.
appoints the committee.
Okay, so I think we're ready to vote on it. I know I totally agree with what Heather's saying, because we don't know what's gonna happen. The situation right now is so fluid, and so I agree, but I think we're ready to vote. I think we've
But
discussed it
you're
enough.
also thinking in a vacuum too. I mean, in a 3-year period, if
No,
it's
we're
a
thinking
controversy.
outside.
We
Well,
can,
no,
we can, we can say whatever you want. I asked for clarification, I didn't get my clarification, so I will be voting no. Thank you.
I'm just saying that in a 3-year period, if it's a controversial topic, there may be other publications that come out addressing the same topic. So you may not be reviewing that particular piece of material, but new things may come out and that would be reviewable.
So
So
a
an
parent
update-
so a parent who has an issue has to wait till the state decides they wanna change something.
No,
That's not acceptable in my mind. Thank you, I'm done, I'm ready to vote.
Any other discussion? Hearing none.
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I,
All opposed,
Oh, wait a minute, I'm doing it wrong. I'm sorry.
retake. It's okay. All those in favor say aye.
I,
All opposed,
Aye.
passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 2. 5-2 passes, okay. Moving down, we have. Action item, discussion and possible action to approve the revised Norwich Board of Education budget for the 2026-27 year in the amount of $96,637,707. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
By Dennis, do I hear a
Kevin
second?
Zatani, I will second that motion.
Discussion,
I think Bob went through it
Yes.
quite
Yes.
eloquently
Yeah.
and we should
Makes
approve.
sense. Yep.
And it's amazing that we're ending in the black. Thank you very much, sir.
Those people, not
No,
me.
I know. It takes a lot of hard work and I appreciate it, believe me,
This-
being a
this is-
taxpayer.
And even NFA ended in the black this year, so.
Oh, that's a miracle too.
This is just really cool, and
Yeah.
we're very fortunate to have the hard work of a lot of people that made this possible. You know, our state legislation and folks there in Hartford, you know, fought to get this funding for this 1 year for Norwich. One of the things that we talked about at the ad hoc that's worth consideration, needs to be mentioned now, we'll be bringing it up again in the future, is that this is gonna be an issue when we're looking at our budget next year, because while we have $102 million to spend, we have a $96 million budget. So if 27 school year, we need to pass an $103 million budget, it's gonna look like an increase that's larger than it actually was. So it's worth mentioning now. We have a really good deal going on right now, but it may be a challenge next year. So we're gonna work hard to be fiscally responsible and still at the same time, make sure we're taking care of all our schools, our teachers and our students' needs.
and to accept the flat funded budget, we returned that
Pretty cool, yeah.
$450,000 back to the city to help with the property tax issue that they're dealing with.
Yeah,
in the building.
so it's an approximately $500,000
Right, that we
to
returned,
to the good for the city.
that we returned back, yes, which is a good thing.
Yeah, so taking as face value of what we have for this current budget, that we're gonna be voting on, face value, this is, you know, a win for Norwich Public School and for the community.
Yes, it is, yep, good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. On to committee reports. Do we have committees looking to make a presentation on the report other than what was submitted?
I've got mine all submitted.
Questions from anybody? Okay. Board
John,
re-
I have a
Oh,
question.
okay, Kevin, go right ahead, I'm sorry.
This is directed towards the school building committee. A concerned citizen, which I thought they would be out here to speak during public comment, but they didn't show. There was concern that over at Moriarty, there was a memorial that was established over 30 years ago, many decades ago. A student passed away, and the Norwich Board of Education back then, along with the superintendent, a few sixth graders and teachers made a memorial for the student at Moriarty. And now with the school construction building taking place over in that spot, the concerned citizen is worried that the memorial will be disappeared or destroyed during the process. So they wanted to know what can be done to preserve the memory of the student that passed away many decades ago while this is happening and when the school finishes. He proposed different ideas, you know, if the memorial was overlooked or destroyed, what can they do to, you know, maybe do fundraising or something just to keep that memory alive and not to be forgotten.
Do you know what it consists
So-
of, Kevin?
Yeah,
Is it a
someone had
plaque or
raised the
is it-
concern if it was actually a plaque or if it was
That's what I'm
a tree
asking.
that
What
was
is it?
planted or
Is the
something.
bench in the tree?
I believe it was a plaque that
We didn't get rid of any plaques. This happened at Stanton too. There's a memorial at Stanton and we are moving it. It's a very heavy bench and we've talked about that with the construction company. They're actually gonna help Matt Brown because it's so heavy, move it, and we're gonna find another spot next to Stanton. We would do the same thing with any other, there's no memorials that are being thrown away or demolished or anything like that. I'll
Okay.
double check with you and I'll get back to the whole Board of Ed
Thank
so
you.
that everybody
Yeah, thank you.
knows.
Yeah.
I
Thank you very much.
actually had left her I'd ask Ashley, but I'll definitely, but I know in Stanton, we're definitely making
definitely.
sure that we're keeping
Was it a tree,
everything,
Kevin?
so.
Was it a tree?
He's not, he thinks it was
I-
I'll find out, I'll get back to
Tree,
everyone, I'll send an email out.
I believe the individual said it was a plaque, it could be a tree,
Why do I
but
think it's the front,
I knew there was a tree at Mahan,
Yeah, cause one school there was a tree and the top was had
The hand.
cut into a board and
something.
preserving the board in a display case somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Well, the
do
good,
you know, remember, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
at Moriarty in the front, they have something, I wonder if, I'm gonna go,
check it
I'm
out.
gonna go check it
Well,
out.
the good thing is it's Stanton that we're ahead of the
Yeah,
game.
some kind of
There's a
rock
plaque and there-
with
there's
like
it's a
little
little
pebbles
garden
on
area,
top of it.
like a,
sundials.
Yeah,
but I can't remember what the plaque says.
I mean, really, the forum for them to go is to go to public comment period during the school board committee meeting, which will be held next Tuesday, the 16th.
But they
And
can't,
that'll-
But they're afraid it's gonna be too late. It
Right.
could be.
I'm
it could
gonna
be-
find out right away.
Yeah, Susan
Yeah.
will follow up on
Yep,
it for
and then
sure.
if you could
Yeah.
update us, Susan.
Well, the good thing is Stanton has been the test case and they're on
Yeah.
top of that, so that's the next two, but we'll find out what it is, so.
Thank you, Kevin.
I have something, I'm a member of the building committee.
Yes.
And next week, I had already brought this up to the head of our building committee, Mark Betancourt. And he asked you to address it with Susan, I haven't had a chance to as of now, but I brought up this a while back at our building committee meeting. So I'm not sure if this is the proper venue.
Of course.
But I'm gonna, when I toured Stanton, it's amazing. Last month, so I wish I had had an opportunity to speak before now, but I had a death in the family, I missed last meeting, so that's all, whatever. So anyways, the location of our SRO. The office in his office in Stanton is on the second floor in a windowless space. And my concern has always been, when it's been brought up on past boards, I fought for SROs when there were people who didn't feel it was necessary in the buildings. And I know that, like Joe DeLucia, our alderman, mentioned that on our building committee, safety's not a purpose, isn't a job of our SRO, but anyways, so my standing on the SRO is that they're not just a resource officer for the kids, because we don't have a separate safety. Our SRO is it. That is it. We don't have, like I know in Groton, they have SROs, but they also have safety committee. I mean, they have other safety officials in the field.
Stuff like that.
And I feel one of the most important roles of an SRO is being a deterrent to something possibly happening in the school when parents and others, strangers, are aware that there is a police official within the building. And I know for years we've had members who have looked upon this issue with rose-colored glasses. When we've had more and more shootings and more lives lost. And I feel that they should at least be near administration on the first floor.
With windows.
So if there is an emergency, I know they are supposed to roam the building and, and make during lunches, be visible. But I still feel that's the safety of the building and our kids, God bless them, it should be part of the
So I
responsibility.
can talk to them. So when we did the buildings, SROs were heavily involved in where they
Yeah.
were stationed. Jared Holman said that he thought that was a great spot for him. With knowing that there is also a spot for him that he can sit in the main entrance, in the main.
See, I wasn't told about any other spot.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's definitely spots for him to sit downstairs. Also, he is rarely in his office. He is moving
Well, that's
around,
what I'm
right?
saying. I know he wonders about.
But there is a spot for him, and then also speaking of that, how important our SROs are, I think everyone knows that we went from 3 to 2 because of budget cuts the year before. I was at the legislative breakfast this morning, I was sitting next to the chief, and we had a nice conversation, I said, in the next budget season, we are going to be looking to get another SRO back so that they can go through and cycle through the elementary schools. So we are looking at that to put it in our budget, and hopefully that will stick. For that, but the SROs were heavily involved in the offices and where they would sit, but there's definitely a spot for him or her, whoever we have, to be in that spot.
Does he have visibility where the other spot is?
Say again?
Is there visibility?
Yeah, it's right in the front office area, so he'll be there. That's right where the parents come in and that front entrance over there.
Nothing was said about that on the
Yep.
tour, and so I was just like shocked, because I know, like I said, I've talked to some other people, and then knowing my own experience at Norwich Tech, I had full view of the cameras, and
He'll have all the cameras will be up in his office
yeah,
as
no,
well
I
as down
know,
in the
but
front
I'm
office.
just saying, knowing that we were that close, even though it was us, but at least we could notify,
And don't forget too,
people.
the SRO's vehicles in the front of the school that you
That
mentioned
too,
deterrent,
yeah,
and that's a
yeah,
really
that's
good deterrent that
definitely a
they're in the front,
deterrent.
so.
I kept meaning to ask at our meetings, is there a panic button?
There's panic buttons, yes.
Okay, more than one?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't
And
want to divulge
another
where they
thing
are,
that
but there's.
I know this is building committee stuff now though, but I had brought it up a while ago, but I gotta remember to talk to them if it's being done or not. We had to develop, we had to submit a simplified map of the building, not a of course we have to have the blueprints available if there's an emergency, readily available in the main office if we do have some kind of emergency. But all exterior doors, we made sure were numbered. Every door that enters out was numbered, and the police have a copy of that.
So when we went through the numbering of the class, the buildings, the SROs were on it and they gave great feedback to DRA.
Very
And that's
good.
how they created the numbers. So
Very
the
good.
SROs were the ones,
Alrighty.
and Maria Perillo, who's part of in charge
Yeah,
of safety too.
safety.
We were
yeah.
all there and that's how they numbered all the
Okay.
all
See,
the
I
classrooms.
missed that too. That's why I've been like on the outside looking in. So figured I'd bring it up
Yeah,
while you.
no, great
got it.
questions.
No, I'm good. Susan covered that, and as Susan said, we meet, school personnel meet every week, and we've been doing this for a few years now with each school, and we have special meetings just related to those topics.
Yeah, that's why I wish I was more aware of
actually
the
the chief
individual
and-
working meetings.
Actually, the chief and Deputy Chief Lazaro have been in part of this talk too, since
One thing on the
NP
room numberings,
can
in trying to make the room numbering patterns where possible be similar from one school to the next, so if you were familiar with Stanton's numbering system in terms of
idea.
central office and you went to another building, it would,
But the
where possible,
the
would
exit
follow.
door, I mean like exterior doors though too, not
They're all
just
numbered, they're numbered on the windows, they're numbered on the insides, they're numbered on the hallways.
on every outside, I mean, every outside door, like, you know, like one even at receiving would be like numbered. So when you, if there is something happening within the building, someone
they would
can
know where to go.
There's classroom numbers on the
Yeah.
outside on the windows.
Yeah. No, I meant by door, cause then if you know somebody's in the building, they can pinpoint their location.
They were all
Very
involved,
good.
yes.
Yeah, negotiations committee. I just clicked on it, knowing that, you know, we're done with it. But it says here tonight that on the 6th of June, the 19th of June, that we're supposed to be voting on
Tonight.
accepting.
Tonight,
After executive session. That's part of executive session.
that's.
We're gonna discuss it.
That's the
and then we'll vote
custodial,
out.
Oh,
custodial
okay.
one.
Yeah.
You're familiar with that one?
Yep.
Yes, you are. Comments? I just gotta throw one of my personal comments about SROs, and I brought this up at ad hoc for a couple of years. And I agree, SROs are a safety issue for schools. And just like capital improvement, we have to take out of our operating budget. I feel that the burden and the cost of SROs should be shared with the city, the police department, and the Board of Education. It's a safety issue, it's not an
Totally.
education issue, it's a safety issue. So that's my 2 cents on that. It's a shame we have to cut an SRO because of a budget. It's a shame.
Now that we know that we're gonna have
Just-
extra, we can't use it for that.
No, we're gonna look at it again because that wasn't in our budget, so we're gonna look at it for the 27-28 school year. And also, it would have been very difficult to even get it back because as everybody knows, there's a shortage of police officers. And that was another discussion that I had with the chief today when I sat with him. So he feels that the following year, they should be in good shape as far as personnel. And that they would be able to give up another one should it pass in the budget.
And we'll keep bringing it up that it should be a shared expense, we'll keep bringing it up, not to worry.
And a lot of the security issues that you bring up are not building problems or where the panic buttons are, it's training and comes down to the individual.
It's all of it, Mark.
I
It's
know,
all of it.
I came, it's all combined, but most of the failures in a lot of these school shooting cases are down to, you know, human individuals, their training and their reactions.
We know that.
And so that's where the,
Bob, you
so
wanna go?
it goes down to an
Deterrence is a
individual.
Big factor.
From back on the budget, from a optics standpoint, the public standpoint, it's, we have to be diligent on what happens with that money because everyone will be watching.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just common
very much
sense.
I think safety, you know, parents.
Yeah.
I think our taxpayers would agree,
Well,
you know.
we'll push it. So, board reports, any board reports, anyone need to submit anything other than what they have put in writing? Okay,
The executive session motion.
we're having a motion to go to executive session, please.
Pursuant to Connecticut General Statute 1-200, members of the Board of Education move to go into executive session for discussion regarding the custodian and maintainer's contract and the superintendent's evaluation. The board may ask Superintendent Susan Lassard and Robert Serpensky to participate in some or all of executive session.
Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Second by Mark Kulis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in now going into executive session.
Thank you.
Ready.
Action.
It is now 9:15. We are now out of executive session. Do I hear a motion to approve, well, I have a motion to approve the contract between the Norwich Board of Education and the custodians and maintainers union for the period of July 1, 2026 to June 30, 2029, as discussed in executive session.
Yes.
Dennis
I'll second
Lopek,
that.
second by Greg Perry. All in
Seconded by
favor?
Heather.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do I hear a motion to adjourn the June 9th Board of
I'll make
Education?
that motion.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are now adjourned. Thank you.
That's the only motion I
gotta
can
pee so bad.
I didn't ask
These
for
can
those
just
that
go.
opposed.
This can just go on